Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Joe Murgo. It is Wednesday. You know what that means? It's time to find out what's cool, different things that I find that are cool, and all across central Pennsylvania, whether it be technology, things, just like that. So I want to first point out the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Don't have video for, but I just want to I want to share that on this date in 1870, back in 1870, Old Faithful got its nickname of Old Faithful. So it's been a long time coming. Now, I wanted to point that out too because I learned something that's really cool. When Old Faithful was first found and used by soldiers, you know what they used it for? We're going to leave a dramatic pause as I get something else going on here. It was used for, you ready for this? Washing laundry. They used to shove their dirty laundry down into the geyser with the boiling water, and when it shot up, it was time and everything was clean. How about that? That's kind of cool. All right. First things first, let's go ahead and take a look at something that was really cool that showed up on the Doppler radar, a couple of different Doppler radars, and a lot of you have noticed it and asked, what's with the dragonflies? There are a couple of things here. First of all, the dragonflies really do well when it comes to wet weather. So in the last year, they really bred well. So there's been a lot of local dragonflies. However, each year, there's also a migration of certain dragonflies that come on down through the United States and pass through Pennsylvania and Ohio. And the National Weather Service in Ohio caught with their Doppler radar what looks like just blobs, but was actually, you ready for this? The dragonflies. And also in there, some of the birds that thought this is good pickings. So the National Weather Service of Cleveland, thank you so much for sharing that. And it was showing up on different radars in the Northeast at different times too. And some of that is false returns. Some of that is actually insects. It does happen. All right, let's go ahead and talk about a trip I wanted to do that was through the area. I wanted to go up and I wanted to find off of the Quinamahoning Highway. Kahana Highway, I should say, Parkway. There is an old nuclear jet bunker. So I'll show you a map first where I was traveling. And I first stopped off. There's a new barbecue place right off of 350. That was really cool as my producer tries to get, there we go. I started off at the barbecue shop and then I moved up and went to the Kahana Parkway, and I was looking for this jet bunker that the military had underground that they were during the nuclear age was using. I came so close. So we planned it out. Here's the issue. We kind of did the research and kind of knew where we were, but we didn't print off all our detail. And when you're there, there's no service. We were so close to finding that you see on the screen. And we are going to find it. And sometime in the future, I'm going to talk about it and we'll show you because I think that's cool. There used to be a homestead there. There's ruins of a homestead. And then there's these underground bunkers that the government and military used. So we will find them, and I'll give you more photos when I find them. However, we were on our way up to Benezet. Yes, we were going to see the elk. It's that time of the year. So we continued on the map there up to Benezet, and we went to the visitor center right away because it was getting toward dusk. Now, I've been to Benezet several times. And I'm batting 1,000 for seeing elk, and I'll give you my secret coming up. And that is the timing, really. And we went inside, and inside it's really nice. They have a museum. They have a 4D film to learn about the elk. There's also some a nice gift shop with some really cool items and learn about elk and the different things and how we used to have elk naturally. They slowly disappeared, and then we repopulated them, and they're doing well in Elk County. Now, this photo here, my daughter and I was showing her because I've done this before, is showing her how heavy the racks on those elk are. It's amazing the muscles that they need to show that. All right, so let's go ahead now, and I can and take a look at the elk. And I didn't have to travel far. In fact, at the Elk Visitor Center, there were elk. All right, this is one video, and this one is of the male elk, and he's guarding his harem. So we were there, and there was a nice little cluster of them. And you're going to see that that male elk, he gets himself pretty, he gets pretty protective, and he can move around pretty fast, and when he wants to. So there is this another video now, or is this still the same? Okay, let's go ahead and go now to some of the images that we have of the elk, and I want to show you before we get to the rest of the videos. And here we next one. All right, well, it wasn't loaded up there. So I'm going to talk over it. And again, if you want the secret to finding the elk, they're not out in the middle of the day. You need to go early in the day or late in the evening. Sunrise and sunset is the best time to catch them out. And it'll be in different areas. And this is the first time I found that many elk near the visitor center. So let's go ahead, and hopefully we can show you different pictures. Otherwise, I'm going to just show you some more videos. And, you know, reason why to go visit the elk this time around is because it's the time of the year that they start bugling. And at the end of this video, I am going to give you an opportunity to hear the bugle, because you sit there and go, wow, there's no way that they are going to make sounds just like that. All right, so I think we may have images coming up here soon. That's cropped a little bit off there, so you'll have to there you go. Now, at one point in time, the elk went to the was getting a little agitated, and the reason why was this guy. It was a young male elk, and he was kind of shunned off to the side, and you can see that his antlers are fairly small. And let's go ahead, and I'm seeing these as you guys see them. So, and we'll recrop this one again, and this image there's okay. There we go. There's the male elk and some of his harem. And yes, they have harems, and they watch over them very carefully. And the next image is, there's another shot of the male. And I took this all with my Nikon camera. You do need a pretty good zoom lens. You don't want to go too close to these guys. And the reason why is just, you know, they're big, they're unpredictable, and that makes them dangerous. So let's go ahead, and if there's another image, we'll show you that. Oh, there's more of the harem, more of the female elk. Now, let's go ahead and show you a couple of more videos that I wanted to show you. One of the agitated elk. So do we have those other videos loaded up? Okay. Okay, and this is one of those. I wanted to tell you, whenever that young male was nearby, the male elk was not the happiest. And when he saw them, he started to get a little bit, rambunctious. And I think on this video, you're going to see them, that he's moving around a good bit. And I'm going to let this run, because you're going to be able to see these elks they can move very fast. And at one point in time, the visitor center staff was a little bit nervous because watch him here. He's going to move a little bit. There you go. At one point in time, that happened a lot closer to the crowd, and they were worried that he was going to chase an elk on into the crowd. So there's another video coming up. Let's go ahead to the next video. And I'm going to show you something that's really cool that is going to allow you to understand when an elk is pretty upset. And if you notice his belly shaking and his scruff, like a dog, or the scruff up, when you see that, that male elk is not very happy. So he was panting and his scruff was up. And if you ever run into an elk and you're near, now remember I'm using a telephoto lens, and so therefore I'm a good distance away. But if you see something like that, that means to slowly back away. This guy is not happy, and there's a lot of meat on that. There's a lot of weight on that, and he's very anxious. All right, so last thing I'm going to show you for today is I'm going to share with you the bugling of an elk, and I'm going to let the audio go on this one. So this is the one I want the audio.
Imagine how crazy it's going to be next week. There's due to go into rut. They're due to start, really start.
So what that is, can you believe an animal that large can make a screeching sound like that? And I had folks from last night, they were talking to me through Facebook, and they were saying, the nice thing about having an open window at night is you can hear the elk bugling. So it is something to see. This is the time of the year to go out. This is the busy season. They're heading into their rut, which also means they become a little more unpredictable too. So make sure you use safety in this. Stay your distance. Don't go on private land there. People really ask you not to do that. There are people who live there, and they don't want people just walking all over their yards. But there's plenty of places to see. And remember, sunrise, sunset, best time to see them. Do not, at one time I was on a walking path, and one side of the path was mama, other side of the path was baby, and dad was in the woods a little bit beyond. And we sat there and we waited a very long time, because you do not ever come between mama and the baby. It can get real dangerous. All right. I thought that was cool. I did. There are you can make special requests, and I put a special request in for a while. I showed you the Viva, which was like an Alexa in your car. I did get the Amazon Auto. I'm probably going to test it out a couple of weeks, but I'm really excited. I have it in my car testing it out, and it is really neat and even a little bit better than the Viva, but I want to give it a good test before I talk about it on here. And down the road, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of maybe the secrets of making ice cream. Yeah, I have some things planned for That's Cool, but for this week, I'm meteorologist Joe Murgo.